of those 6 had 2 children. One of those 2 is having a child right now. I am told that there is a 7th sister who is supposed to be in Mexico right now, and she's supposed to be having a child by him.
Are you the least bit afraid of what might happen to you as a result of making these revelations?
Oh, yes. I probably am a dead man already.
Malcom X outing Elijah Muhammad as being the father of 6 or 7 illegitimate children.
Yeah,
and what happened to Malcom X?
And it wasn't 6 months later that he was indeed dead, taken down by the black Muslims, who I'd love to know exactly
who did it.
Who did it? Well, the one man who did acknowledge that he did it and wound up in Sing Sing, Thomas Hagen, he said he did it. He would not tell who else, but there were a couple of other guys who spent a long time in prison, and he said neither of those 2 were in the crowd that arranged this whole business. There was a miscarriage of justice for a couple of people in that, but Hagen did spend, I think they're all out by now. But Malcom came to my office at CBS and sat down with me, and he said, I want you, he told me the story about the Elijah Muhammad spawning these 6 or 7 babies. And he said, I want to talk. I didn't believe him. And I said, Malcom, come on, you are, no. He said, I want you to listen in on a phone conversation. And he called 2 of the women, and it became quite apparent. And I, also on the phone was my little Jackie Peeler, my little Southern secretary. And her face just turned absolutely stark white when she heard these stories. Later on, I did an interview with Farrakhans.
Louis Farrakhan.
And at lunch, after we had finished the interview, we sat around the table out in Phoenix, Arizona, where he has his place. And he pointed to that young man down there, very good-looking man. He said, he's one of the sons that came out of
Elijah Muhammad
with the sister.
Is Louis Farrakhan anything like Malcom X?
No, I don't think. I have such admiration for Malcom. You know, he used to say, we'll do it by any means necessary. He never called for violence. He remade himself. When he began to hear about the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. There was no scandal, there was no money. He raised wonderful kids. And he's as smart as he can be. But you know something? We arranged, he wanted, he said, to meet some people in the Jewish community.
Reach out.
Exactly. So I tried to talk to some of the people who are heavy in the Jewish community. Nobody wanted to have anything to do with them. I called Edgar Bronfman of Seagram's, and I said, look, he would like to meet somebody, and Edgar Bronfman is highly regarded in the Jewish community. So he and his wife, Bronfman, invited the Farrakhans and the Wallaces to dinner of a Sunday night. And all of a sudden, there was a real meeting of the minds, and they were talking about conceivably a joint venture that would be sponsored by Edgar Bronfman. Perhaps they thought a hotel in Washington that would be run by people of color.
What happened?
The next night, Louis Farrakhan went over to Brooklyn and was back on his anti-Semitic rant. That's what happened. So,
Is he anti-Semitic?
I think that he plays to what he believes is his constituency. I think that he's a demagogue, smart as the dickens. I'm quite ill, I'm told, now. And probably, you know, I hate to say so, but I'm afraid that he is. You know, his fiddle teacher he makes all of the points. His fiddle teacher was Jewish, and he has nothing but admiration for the minds of Jews and their accomplishments. But there is that strain. There was none of that in Malcolm. There was none of that in Roy Wilkins. There was none.
A devoutly religious man, a Muslim, says that what you are doing now is, quote, a disgrace to Islam. And he calls you, Imam, forgive me, his words, not mine, a lunatic.
I'm a student, and I do a lot of research on the web.
From there.
He hadn't played that song in 30 years.
That's right. He played it at I Am an American Day out here in Central Park. And he said, I don't know how, I can't. Vladimir Horowitz, he used to watch 60 Minutes. That's how he finally agreed to do it. He hadn't never done a profile before. And so finally he said, all right, I'll do it. And it was a Saturday afternoon, Orchestra Hall, Chicago. He always did this at 4 o'clock in the afternoon the day before, because he always played at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sundays. He came in all dressed, and I idolized the man. And I said, Maestro. He said, Mike Wallace, I see you every Sunday night. Well, after that, what could you do?
Was that the highest moment you've ever had on 60 Minutes in 32 years?
It was one of the highest, absolutely. The Khomeini thing was fascinating, and Horowitz.
What's the interview you're most proud of?
I think probably some of the interviews, Tim, that established the character of 60 Minutes, which were back when you, what are called ambush interviews, what are called hidden camera interviews and so forth. I
remember the one with the fake diplomas.
Oh, with the fake diplomas, yeah.
The guy couldn't tell you what college or where it was located?
That's correct. And he also said, I know you, I came in with the camera rolling. Dan, what's your name? I said, no. Oh, yes, Mike Wallace. He thought I was rather familiar. That series established the hallmark of 60 Minutes, that series of interviews in which they didn't know who we were around the country. And suddenly we took them unawares. And frequently there was a lot of information that we got that we wouldn't otherwise have gotten.
And now the camera is turning on 60 Minutes. This new movie, The Insider's coming out about 60 Minutes, spiking a piece about tobacco. What do you know about it?